Hello everyone, so this is a documentation video for my project. So I recently started working on a project for automated incident response system. So that project is from a minor project as part of my curricula, but I also wanted to make this documentation because when I started working on that project, I did some research and I found that some of the tech stack which was there, it did not have much of resources and references which I could refer to or which I could learn from. I had to take support from ChatGPT. I had to learn some stuff from YouTube and some of the documentation, but the documentation was also not very proper, not very good. So I thought of making this documentation as to keep a track of my project and also to help someone who wants to learn Drools. So Drools is nothing but a rule-based engine. So what I'm planning to make is a automated incident response system. So let's say there's an X incident, so there should be a Y response, right? So for such type of activities, there is a cybersecurity specialist. But my project is for the small and medium enterprises which cannot afford such people, and they should have some cost efficient some solution. So that is what I'm planning to make, an automated incident response system for small and medium enterprises. So yeah, this is the documentation for the setup of my Drools. So this is the first video where I'll be showing you guys how I set up Drools. So Drools, mostly the code is written in Java and it is built with Maven. So I'll come to all of the stuff in the coming section in the same video. So stay tuned. So these are some notes I took when I was searching about the project, what I would need, what all the tech stack I need. So I'll come straight to the point, which is our topic Drools. Okay. So Drools is nothing but a rule file which contain all our rules, and it has an extension .drl. That's a file type. Okay, and this is a typical rule structure. So when you have to write a rule, when you have to define a rule, you say rule and then the name of the rule, and then you say when something happens, then this should happen, and at the end you say end. So it's similar to writing if this happens, then you do this, else you do this. So it's similar to if else block only, but yes, it is somewhat different. And now Drools files are built with Java using Maven, and there is a certain way to use it. I'll come to that also. Now version, this was some important thing which I noticed. The latest version of Drools is version 10 and the one I'll be using is version 7. Okay, now the reason I chose that is because I had to use classic Kai, and version 10 which is there, it uses something called rule unit style. So rule unit style is nothing but it uses something called rule unit data and rule units instead of kjar packaging. So this thing called Kai is using Kai container, Kai service, Kai session. These three are very important when you are dealing with rules. Okay, so what happens is you have a .drl rule file. It gets built with Maven. It forms a kjar. Okay, that kjar has containers which has some service to be run, and it has a session for it. Okay, now this all things, container, session, service, kjars, all these used to happen in version 6, 7, 8 of Drools. Okay, when version 10 came, they introduced something called rule unit. So in the rule unit, everything is implicit. You don't have to write everything. It is done implicitly. Okay, so it makes your life a little bit easier. But for my project, I'll be using the classic Kai version, which is version 7. Okay, so yeah, the setup part was quite hectic. I would recommend not use IntelliJ or any other IDE for that matter, because when you go to create a new project in that any of the IDE, you have to face a lot of options, and I couldn't select things in all those options. So I went with native. I went to terminal and typed all the commands to build my project. So this command is to build a basic Maven project using Drools. Okay, I'll come to this. Let's switch to the PC. I'll explain to you how I have configured Drools project. Okay, so coming to the setup part, I'll give the link of this in the description. You can check out this repository on GitHub. So if you open this link, you'll see here main branch, which does not have currently anything. I have put everything in a separate branch, which is just drool-configs-basics. So what you can do is either you can directly go ahead and clone this branch, clone this repository and switch to this branch to see all these files. Or if you want to set up, I have provided a mm, very nice descriptive setup guide with a README. So what you have to do is you have to take this particular command over here. You can copy this and I'll go here. I'll paste this command and I'll hit enter. So what this will do is this command is basically to make a project of Maven in my system. So now if I do ls, I'll see here Drool 7 Classic. So that is the name of my project. This was the command I gave. Okay, in this command, artifact ID Drools 7 Classic is the name of the project. You can change this if you want. Okay, so if I go in that particular directory, I'll see here two things. One is pom.xml and another is src folder. Okay, now in this src folder, there will be a test folder also, and I just removed it for time being. And okay, and now I only have used kept this main folder. Okay, other than that, yeah, this is the main file structure. So let me just open my editor. So I'm using nvim. So in this, uh, sorry, I guess I'm in the wrong directory. C dot, yeah, open here. Yeah. So this dot maybe you can just ignore it as of now. One is your source folder, which has main, Java, and or org.example. It has an app.java, so it's a sample code for Java. And you also have a pom.xml. So this pom.xml is basically a file which contain all your plugins. Okay. And with this plugins, it also contain your dependencies which are required, and the dependency management, the compiler which is required, the build source and everything. So there are many stuff is there. Okay, so what I would suggest is I have done the setup. Basically, you have to the test folder was there which I removed, and you have to create your directory something like this. So in the main folder, you can have to make a resource folder in which there will be two more folder. One will be called rules, and another will be meta information with this particular name only. Okay, and in the meta information we'll keep kmodule.xml, and in the rules folder we will keep all the drool files which will contain all our rules. Okay, and pom.xml will contain all the rules. So I'll take this only because I have done immense amount of setup that time, so I don't want to do it again. So what I'll do is I will clone that particular repository over here. I've given the installation parts here also. Just you have to clone this, and then when it is done, you can do git branch dash a. Uh, Sorry, you have to just first go into that directory. Yeah, if you do ls right now inside this directory, automated IR, if you do ls, you won't see anything. Okay, if I do here git branch dash a, yeah, 1 second, this needs to be configured. Since I'm using Linux and my project folder is in a shared folder, so that's a warning I'm getting. You won't get something like that. Okay, so if you do get branch dash A, it will list all the branches. The main branch is this main branch, origin main. And then I have this another branch, which is drool-configs-basics. Okay, which is this particular branch, which have the code on. Okay, when you did ls here, you didn't see anything because it was showing the content from the main branch. Now, main branch does not have anything. So what I'll do is I'll say git checkout, and I'll give the branch name, which is drool configs basics. Now I have switched to that branch. If I do ls, I'll see all the content. Now let me just, yeah, I'm in the correct folder. I'll open my nvim. So see, the source folder, src folder should look something like this. The main will have Java, and it will have org.example. It will have a main.java and a person.java. These two Java files will be there. And in the resources folder, I'll have meta information and this rules folder. Okay. As of now, just forget about, don't consider this target folder. Don't consider cp.txt folder as well. Okay. Just follow. Uh, if you open the pom.xml, the boiler code which was given before when I made the project, it will be different than the one in here because I removed it entirely and I only kept the things which I need. So the things which I need are given here properly. Okay. So now these are all the things which I wrote during the making of the project, that big command which I gave. Okay. For packaging this, I have written kjar. As I told you, kjar is used there. Okay. After that, Maven compiler, Drools version. See here, Drools version 7.74.1 final. This is a version of Drools which I'm using. I'm not using the latest version 10. I'm using 7. Okay. And then in the dependencies, I have this Sky API. Log back, I'll tell you I have kept it. I have Drools core, Drools compiler, and Kai CI. So these three are very important. Kai CI, Drools compiler, Drools core, and Kai API. These four are very important. Other than that, yes, this Maven compiler will be there, and this Maven plugin will also be there. Okay, so these are the things which you will need in your pom.xml basically. And the thing here which was there, this log back, right? So when I did run the project, at the end there was some warning that the project could not generate logs. So because of that, I added this dependency, but it still did. So I still have to figure that out. Okay, so coming to the tool file. Okay, this is my rules file where I write all the rules. So it is in the rules folder in the resources, main/resources/rules. So the structure of this file is something like I provide a package name in the top, like in Java files. I give package rules, and then I say import org.example.person. Why? Because I have to implement all the rules on person. Okay, person is nothing but a class, which is a public class. It has a setter and getter. Okay, so it has a get age and get name methods. So if I go back there, so this, as I told you, we make rules like this. We say rule, name of the rule, and then I say when, and then. So rule adult, the name of the rule is adult, and when $p, so we are referring to the variable p. For the person whose age is greater than equal to 18, I will say system.out.println. It will print in the terminal that the person dot p dot get name, basically the person's name, is an adult. Okay. Second rule is minor. Similarly, it is checking for if the age is less than 18. Okay. So this is simply just a rules file which has a rule. I can write the same rule as with if else block in my main code. Okay, main code. See, in main code, I told you we will have a Kai services, we will have Kai container, we will have Kai session. Okay, so all these things we'll understand all of them in the coming videos, why they are useful, what are the need of all these three things. Okay, now, as of now in this code, what you'll see is I have made a session in which I have inserted a object of person class with name Alice and age 25. So if you go to person class, it takes a name and age. Okay. So I have made Alice whose age is 25 and Bob whose age is 15. Okay. At the end, I said ksession.fire all rules and ksession.dispose. So what it will do is it will fire the rules, and according to the rules, it will process whatever the output should be. Now, the other thing here is kmodule.xml, which is important. Basically, it's just a file which is telling you where to look for the rules file for the k sessions. Okay, so it is important. It The only work it does is tell where to look for in the where to look for the rule files. So the rules file are in this rules folder. So that's what I've specified here. In the rules folder, my rules files exist. So that's what it's for. So that's pretty much about it. So if you have to run this, what you'll do is I have provided here. Yeah, I'll just exit out of this. Now, as of now, I'll remove cp.txt. I will also remove target. Okay, I'm good to go. Now what I'll do is I will take this command maven clean package. So if you run this command, it will start building the project. It will show some warnings, but don't worry about them as of now. So you see here a message that build success. Okay. After this, you have to generate a runtime class path. So there are many methods to run this project, but yeah, this was the method which worked for me. I did try some other methods as well, running using jar files or something like that, but it I did run into some errors. So as of now, I'm using this method only. Later, I'll try to find a better method to do this. And this command runs this Java file. So see, this SLF4J is the warning which I told you about for the logging. It did not find any thing to make logs, to generate logs. So that's why it is showing a warning. But it did show the output also. Alice is an adult and Bob is a minor. So this is basic rules implementation. Okay, in the coming videos, I'll be talking about how I can configure rules to fire chain rules, how I can take advantage of the sessions and the containers, how we can control them, and all of those stuff. So stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.